I'm your host, Ken Patterson. We are at the 13th annual St. Louis Prototype Modelers Meet. I'm doing an outdoor photo shoot. We're going to talk about this table saw. That's absolutely magnificent. This is the best hobby in the world.
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat starts now.
Catch the What's Neat podcast every week and full episodes of What's Neat every month at the Model Railroad Hobbyist YouTube page.
We're ready to go. Ready, set, go. Give us a countdown. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Gotta get our Patriot on there.
Okay. They're done watching us set up. Richard, give us a countdown.
You ready?
Let's give them a show.
3, 2, 1. And 1.
It's okay.
Sorry, the obsessive compulsion.
And 1 again.
You know.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
These are anyway.
And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com.
Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com.
Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show, 279 for June 22nd, 2024. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of that What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And 6 o'clock in the morning, I got the July show out. That was really late.
Yeah. That was like...
They didn't fire me. I actually gave them an advance copy of the raw edit so they could start doing their end of what they needed to do in their business.
We don't need to get into all that.
But the
it's
fact
gonna
is,
be a great
George
show.
Bogatuk is back.
Absolutely.
And this time, he's working on his layout constantly. And he did something to the track to make the ties look more distant apart, so it's not so uniform, because he's making secondary trackage. Mm-hmm. And I've seen Dave Davis do it 1,000 times, but George made it it came from nowhere with this idea, and I thought, wow, let's run it.
Nice. Very cool.
We've got Bachman Industries in that, and we're starting a new segment for What's Neat, which I find interesting. And Joe's been suggesting this for a while. Segments, 1 minute to 3 minutes long, model railroad tips. Tricks and tips, little things that you take for granted. Some of those things you could explain in 60 seconds, and it'll change somebody's modeling career, or at least make life easier for them. So I thought, little tips like that.
Always have Q-tips within reach.
Okay, and Mike, you could come up with different little ideas.
That's fantastic.
Tricks.
Yeah, probably.
I actually did something, go figure, spray bottles. When you're spraying your layout with the glue, mixtures or woodland scenic cement, and if your spray bottle's spitting and it's letting out little water balls, now you're denting and making craters in a ballast and ruining everything you had just done. Mm-hmm. So I thought, why not explain, the clean bottle, keeping it clean, the mist, the more expensive ones that you pay a little bit more for, maybe you're going to spend $10 on this bottle.
Yeah.
Maybe 12, but it's going to give you a quality job.
Definitely works.
So that was one of the things that I brought up, only it was a very entertaining few seconds with lots of B-roll running over it the whole time. So that's kind of neat. Anybody got ideas for little tips and tricks? I bet there's thousands of them. We could come up with 125 just in a week. But work them in the show as segues. So maybe put 5 in each show. That's the thought process. Are the wheels turning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
One thing I learned recently is I use
ACC or super glue for just about all of my modeling stuff now because it's easy to find and you can get it anywhere and it's relatively cheap. But no matter how you clean the tip, and clean it up before you put the lid on, those tips always get clogged up.
Yes.
And so I saw something on one of these forums. They sent these needles, that you could put on. None of that worked. This one guy gave me an idea of having a dedicated pin vise with the right size drill bit, and it was always with your super glue. So whenever it got clogged up, you can drill it out.
So I got one better for you.
Well, it's not there. It's pretty good. Hold on.
I use the Faller Expert glue that has the long tip on it. So if you get a B chord on a six string guitar, it's the same exact size to go in there. And you can cut it into lengths that are about this size.
Yeah, perfect.
And you can give them to all your friends.
Oh, they're the ones that have got the wires around them, so they're kind of ribby.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, I've done that with those little phosphor brass wires, that you use for handrails or grab irons, that kind of thing. That's just the right size to reach down.
When I restring my guitar, no, I have it hung up because I have the bottom cut off.
Yeah.
I have a guitar that I string the strings backwards, and the end of the strings have a little knob on them, and they're wired together. So I have that hanging on a little nail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although
And zoop zoop.
that said, I've actually been taken to using Eileen's tacky glue, the white stuff, especially for 3D printed stuff.
Yeah.
And the reasoning being is that it holds well enough to keep your model intact. If you're not constantly fiddling with it, it'll keep it intact. But the advantage of that over super glue is one, it cleans up a lot neater. And in fact, the buildings that I just put in at the Magic House, I use that Eileen tacky glue to hold them together. And when they break apart at the glue joints, then it cleans up really nicely.
Right.
And the other advantage, especially with 3D printing, in fact, when I put the when I have Denny's locomotive that I'll talk about here in a minute. But when I put the steps, or when I put the ladders on there and the walkway over the rear grill, I'll actually be using that tacky glue for that as well, because the advantage of that is it'll give way quicker than the resin parts will break. And so the idea is that you have a natural break so that you can hopefully protect those more delicate
For sure,
parts.
yeah. ACC, it'd crack apart.
Yeah.
The part would crack in half.
I just cut the tip off more and more and
Right.
more.
Then you end up with a
And then you
stump.
don't.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you're sticking toothpicks in there and trying to dip it out.
Generally,
Okay.
when I'm using super glue, unless it's a big project or something, or big walls of a building, which I actually don't use that for that, I always put the super glue in a spot somewhere. I got a favorite little miniature anvil or a rock, or
Right.
sometimes Post-it notes.
And you scoop it out.
No,
Yeah.
I use dental tools and picks,
Okay.
and then
Right.
apply it to what it is I'm trying to. I did
Yeah.
some intermountain end scale F units where I was gluing the radiator screens to the sides, and I didn't want that glue showing at all because it's shiny.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting a tiny little bit on with a dental pick.
Right.
And I'm not even, I don't like using kicker on those finished models. I just don't want to go there. But if I ever
It does leave
do,
a mark, yeah.
I'll put spray the kicker in a small little thing, like a cup for an airbrush, which funnels down to the tiniest point, and then you can take that and dibble that onto the spot you just glued, and it will get on the model without ruining anything.
Right. You
So
can
that's-
put the super glue on a piece of
Well, what
plastic.
I tend to use is that Gorilla green capped gel super glue. And what's nice about that is
Gorilla.
it has a nice long work time, but it'll hold pretty well the first time you put it onto the model. So that allows you to do it neatly, and it'll dry in its own time, and it holds really well,
Like a gorilla.
like a Gorilla. Because it's Gorilla glue, right?
So, can we talk about these Southern Pacific freight cars on the table?
Hey, look, Richard woke up.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, Richard.
How are
Welcome
you?
to the show, Richard.
Yeah, Boom Days is right around the corner.
You can speak.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
We need like an alarm bell or something to wake Richard up because he.
No, I
He
wasn't
likes
going
to
to sleep, gentlemen.
All
I
right, so
just.
Mikey brought.
Just
Are these
resting your
tangent
eyes.
cars? Or are these?
Well,
what
they're
is
all
this?
different.
Catherine cars?
Yeah.
Okay, what's
this
going on
is
here?
the first high cube I got in 1971 when this came out. I've had this that long. It's
Yeah,
an Athearn 8-door car.
Yes.
And then I made a model of a Pacific Car and Foundry Packard model. It's outside braced, one of these, just for a little bit of variety. I never finished the other side, but this side.
We won't
pretty
tell
good.
you
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah.
So,
You yell out there,
Wait a
can't
minute.
see.
The other side is different from this one?
Yeah.
well, I
Let me
just
see the
never
other side.
painted
Well,
this.
now
So
you're
the other
giving
side's
it
finished?
away.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You know, so much for the magic of.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks fabulous.
All right, now
Yeah.
you got to turn it around and show the audience. the
Wow,
other
look at
side.
that. That's the side I
mean,
was
that's a
looking at.
huge
We are
difference,
totally
yeah.
ruining the magic of television
Yeah.
here, folks.
Okay, so you've put in all the posts.
Right, over the weld seams, and then filled in the recessed panels on each side of the door.
Are you getting that, Rich? Is
Yes,
that
I
good?
am.
That's amazing, Mike.
So anyway, that was,
Oh yeah.
I did that a long time ago, like in the 90s. And then Walters came out. Now these were both Greenville prototypes. I mean, they started. This one ended up being a Pacific car. So this one is a Walters model, which is a Pullman standard, and they all have the Southern Pacific big white logo with the red SP.
Mhm.
And then Tangent came out with a super detailed Greenville car.
Okay,
And,
so the tangent car is the same one as these two, right?
Well, it's the same prototype, yeah, but
Okay.
these are 8-door cars, and these are only 4-door cars.
Okay.
General Motors preferred the 8-door cars, I think, for the spacing of the doors at their plants, because that's what they were used for, auto parts. But then recently, Class 1 Model Works came out with this Southern Pacific car, and that's a Thrall prototype.
Stephen Priest?
So, yes.
Yeah.
How long ago did that come out?
Within the last
Well, that's a
year.
new
Yeah,
car.
last year.
Can I touch that? I've never seen this model before.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
I would
model.
like to bring
Be
Stephen
careful.
Priest on the phone. He was
Everything-
showing some pictures on Facebook
Oh, yeah.
of his China trip.
Look, yeah, look at that detail.
Yes. I mean,
Okay, now
Yeah.
and now
See, you need better glasses to even see that.
I got the wrong glasses on to begin with. You said that car was an Evans,
this is
Greenville.
is Greenville, yeah.
which is what these are.
Right.
Is this a Greenville?
That's a Thrall.
That's a throw.
Really? So
Which-
now we have 3 different
Right.
manufacturers.
All three and all 3 major prototype builders too.
It's a beautiful model.
Oh, it's got the railing for the door slides to slide on, which
Right.
Tangent did, which
Yes.
we tried to figure out how to do that in the 80s on brass.
Yeah. Well, Tangent has. I mean, they've got the specific underframes with each road name specific details. I don't know about Class
This is
1.
freaking nice. Good
I'm
job,
sure
Stephen
they-
Priest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Now
This is amazing. I didn't know I was going to see that tonight.
One thing you might notice, I noticed, was the slight variations in the SP in the round white circle.
I see it now.
The weights of the font or the spacing or whatever.
Right.
So I'm so used to seeing the Athearn car, I figured that was right. I wasn't sure. But then when these other manufacturers came out, they were a little bit different. So I talked to some people on the internet. I know I had seen a lettering diagram for these printed somewhere, and I asked Rob Sarbarendi and Rick Selby. They run a group on Facebook about freight cars, and they recall seeing it. But it's a lettering diagram for these cars. But I think in reality there might have actually been a little bit of variation depending on the builder. But I would definitely, figure Dave Lelbach, he always does his homework on
He sure does.
getting
Yeah.
perfect
Oh,
stuff. But Class 1 looks pretty nice too, definitely.
Just the fact that there's 3 different manufacturers here now, 3 different variations of the same car.
Yeah.
Right, you know, Thrall, Greenville, and Pullman Standard all.
Because I remember getting my first Santa Fe in 1974 at Woolworth downtown.
Right, that's
And
where
then I
got
took it
that
to
one.
Famous Bar, and I traveled with my grandmother, so I must have been however old I was in 74, not very old. 9.
Yeah.
So we would go to Famous Bar, and she would go have lunch there. And obviously that's where we would eat. And all I cared about was pulling that box car out and just looking at it and studying it. It wasn't even built; it was a blue box. So I'm holding the shell in
Yeah.
my hand, right?
I know, man.
I was so
Said auto
excited
parts on
about
the
it
side.
because it matched the pictures that I would see in the books.
Right.
It was just, God, it was, as a kid, it was so cool back
Right.
then. And I think they were $4.95,
Yeah, I think
$4.95.
$4.25, I think.
Okay.
Those
You
days
know.
are gone.
No, they're still here.
Yeah.
It's just money doubles every 20 years.
Right,
Yeah,
that's true.
right.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
So, anyway, that's always been one of my favorite schemes for high cubes. And I remember seeing hundreds of them when I was
This
a
is
kid.
great. And this side really shows the extent of what you did.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And now I want to know
So-
what size letters you put on yours. So are these decals that you used?
No, I just turned it around and I just painted red over the ribs
Huh.
and just used the lettering that was existing already.
Oh my God, I would have never thought
So-
about that.
Yeah, I just used a brush to paint the ribs.
Mike,
So that,
you're amazing.
Rat-tat-tat.
so yeah, so now watch somebody will come out with the Pacific Car and Foundry prototype. But
So
that's
there's
cool.
a 4th kind out there.
Yeah,
Pacific
very
Car and
rare.
Foundry.
Only Southern Pacific and Santa Fe had 8-door cars like this, and somebody might have had, one of the two might have had 4-door cars. But
What's that car right now in front of the camera?
High cube right there.
Yep.
Is that
It's a high cube.
Yeah.
Tangent?
I'm
Probably.
not sure it's.
Or is that
looking
an
for-
old Athearn?
I can't see him.
I can't from here either. I can't. I don't even know
You
what I
have
have.
to look at it.
I think the first one was a Tangent because it's brand new and not weathered.
Well, you
And I
folks at
haven't
home, tell
weathered-
us in the comments.
I haven't weathered any Tangent cars, so that's got to be an Athearn that just, or no, that's got to be a Walthers that just went by.
That's a
Pullman
beautiful
Standard.
consist, by the way.
No, this is a good train running.
Yeah.
This is a 1973, 74 consist. Actually, those are Broadway Limited coal cars in there, and so are these tank cars, and they're right for that era. And this is a fun train. I'm sure they'll see it again go by. It's got those cars from Rapido in them, those beautiful
Yes.
Santa Fe mechanical
Yeah.
reefers. I think those are some of my favorite freight cars that I've gotten
They,
in
they
years.
did an amazing job. with
I
those.
love those. I love just parking them on the layout over here and looking at them. I don't even run the train. I just love looking at them. And I thought last night, do I really want to weather them? If it was a Midwest Valley Modelers layout and it was on public display, the answer would be yes. This is my layout.
Well, Rapido.
I want to just look at them clean.
In their instructions, Rapido encouraged you to weather them and send in photos.
I didn't read the
That
instructions.
sort of thing. Well,
Who reads instructions?
yeah.
I didn't read the
Well,
instructions.
Rapido's instructions are always nice and humorous.
Well,
So.
the first time I ever got a
They are.
I didn't know what to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
The very first time I got what was the Rapido product I got? Probably a passenger car.
All the
I don't know.
stickers that they throw out there.
It was a
too.
joke.
Yeah.
It was like paragraphs of funnies. I've never seen a manufacturer do that before.
Yeah.
But then, Jason.
Welcome to Rapido.
Jason is a
Yeah.
free-spirited man, and I love him. That's all I have to say
He's
about
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
When we open up the show, I was going to talk about the Garden Railroad. I'm going to actually make a serious effort now to actually work on it. All I've done so far this year is spray it with bug spray and keep the grass at bay. Daniel's done some work out there. We showed rail getting replaced, but I'm going to start digging out trenches. So that's going to be 2 wagons of the tractor full of dirt, probably 800 pounds of dirt. It's going to get pulled out of the waterways. I priced 4x4s. Wood has gone down in price now since COVID. Thank you, God. 4x4s. It's going to take 8 4x4s to rebuild the tunnel out there, which will be fun. It'll look fresh. I looked at some of the old photos of the way it used to look and the way it looked now, so it's going to be wonderfully fresh and probably running by the RPM.
Remember,
Will it clear double stacks?
I don't have any modern equipment to run. I'd love to get some of those new Bachmann slash the old Aristocraft stuff that they redid. I know that's out there, but yeah, no freight cars, most of that stuff kind of disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I'd say if you're rebuilding it, put forth the maximum clearances that you could possibly need.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no reason to change that. It was built right the first time. We got these Bachmann steam engines. We got James here. Wait a minute, you're here.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, we got these models here that would run beautifully outside, but they're all, you know, they got to pull the old freight cars that are out there too.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to get done.
You know what? We could put blue Nami in those, and you could run them dead rail.
I thought about
battery.
taking the NCE system outside and seeing how it's going to work, because the range on it, when we tested the range on it that one time, it was decent. And yeah, don't get me started on different ideas I've got
Okay.
of doing DCC outside. I have not been in a hurry to want to put decoders on all these older engines that I've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even know which one I would want to start with. The one gentleman redid the Amtrak train for us that we used to run outside all the
Yep.
time. And that's got radio in it?
Yeah, it has
battery
Rail Pro,
powered and radio.
Yeah.
Rail Pro.
Rail Pro?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to interview
That's
them.
Campbell Rice. Doesn't he use that as
Yeah.
well?
And that's how we ran it last year for the RPM meet. We
And
didn't
I-
even need to turn on anything out there.
And I think for a garden railroad, that's kind of the way to. That would be the way to go, because then you could just put a battery in that unit. You don't
Right.
even have
We
to
never
worry
started
about
that.
powering the tracks.
Right.
Another thing, and I made up my mind on this week. I can't believe I'm making up my mind on this. I want to put the trestle back. I spent 3 years filling that thing in with dirt out there. Now I got a great big donut.
But won't the cars
It
be
looks
going
like
off of
hell.
Mississippi?
Wait. Why don't you?
It
make
looks terrible.
Why don't you make a Lightner trestle out there?
No.
You're going to make a hot tub in the middle of that.
So I thought about building the trestle that I built back in 2001 when I built the Garden Railroad. The original trestle was built for a Bachmann photo shoot, and it was all made of cedar fence pickets. And it was $75 in fence pickets and $25 in staples to build a 33-foot long curved bridge. I know I'm staring at it on the wall over there, and I'm probably showing pictures on the screen, but you guys have already seen the bridge. But I think it would be nice to have that back instead of just a bunch of dirt with the big circular cement ring on top, which is, by the way, settling and starting to crack. It's been out there for 4 years since I did that video of putting the cement out
Really?
there.
Yeah, I
that was
remember
4
that,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
That was right about the time you started coming here, right? Or were you way before that? But the whole point is, a spotlight on the trestle, it's a piece of yard art. It doesn't cost that much to build. If I can maybe hopefully the children won't climb it to come here and visit. We don't want that.
Right.
Cedar lasted 20 years. That trestle lasted 20 years. The only downside is if the wind's more than 15 miles an hour, the trains blow off that trestle.
Yep.
But I'm building it again, so that's that story.
Great.
I don't know when that's going to get done because I've been talking about building the N-scale layout for 4 years. We need a lot of fire under our projects around here. All right, somebody talk about something. We never started the stopwatch. I don't know where we are on time on this show.
Oh, it's been about, I don't know.
James,
Fun now.
Yeah.
the floor is all yours, James. What do
Well,
you bring
so-
tonight?
I've got Denny Elsman's locomotive. I've finally gotten the war bonnet on it.
Did you 3D print that shell? Remind me.
No, I've been working on a 3D design of the U-30CG.
Yes.
And right now I'm working on the pilots on that one. I think it's currently bigger than what my printer can take, at least if I print it flat on the surface. Now if
Okay.
I do an angle on it.
Richard, are you shooting this? Is it at the right angle for you to get it? Now you've painted this now? Is that what you're doing this week?
Yeah, that's what I did this week. I put the war bonnet on it, and I'm right now making touch-ups and you know, fixing a few things before I get started.
Are you going to
with the
weather
new
this
calendar.
model for Denny?
I will probably blacken the grills just a little bit,
Okay.
just because because the way this model was made, they don't really stand out otherwise. But they are there, and so they ought to appear. So I'll try and blacken those. Other than that, I'm looking to have this at least in presentable form by the RPM meet.
You got
so that-
you got 4 weeks.
Yeah. So
Oof.
yeah, well, 2 weeks because I won't be able to work on it.
18th,
Yeah.
the 18th. I kept hearing that last week's show during the edit. I was like,
Right
Right around the corner.
it's I'm already
coming
looking at
right up.
August. I'm already looking at school starting now.
Yeah. Well, and also speaking of that, someone had asked me to do an O-scale version of the windmill, and I wasn't sure how well
Is that?
no,
Yeah,
that would work,
that
but
is
this
that.
is the O-scale version. So it's
that's
printed
cool.
up, has all the functionality of the HO. In fact, even better, the wheel turns, the vane rotates, the head rotates, so all of that.
That's beautiful, actually.
So there are some things I've had to go back and
Can I
fix.
touch it?
Yeah.
If you had that stationary on a layout with a little bitty fan somewhere blowing
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
You mean like
you
this
know,
fan right here?
No, not well. I mean, not that big and extravagant.
Wait a minute, it's working now.
Yeah,
It
that's not
works, but you got to
extravagant.
straighten out the vanes behind it because that's in its brake mode. So the way these things work, right? You have the vane straight back, and then it'll rotate.
So does
When
yours
it's in a-
actually break?
Yeah.
Does it stop?
Okay, now try it.
Yeah.
Now try it.
Now try it.
Yeah, you gotta stop
Put it straight. Put it
Okay,
straight to
hold
the fan.
it up.
Straighten out that vane.
Oh my god, it works!
Oh, oh.
It
Oh,
does
how
work.
cool!
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I want one.
I'll get
Does
you
the
your
HO
little
scale one
dog
do that?
The
too.
HO scale one does do that. So let's see if we can get it in the.
We could start
screen
generating power on the layout.
That's awesome. Tiny
Yeah.
rubber.
Oh my God.
Electric bearings.
here. They work. So
Pretty cool.
yeah, and you notice when this thing goes flat, that's one challenge with this, that this thing moves just a little bit too easily
Yeah.
to stop the rotation.
Wow.
But the wind catches the vane
And it'll
and then pushes
Push it
it
over.
around in the
Yeah.
circle, so that it's not actually going to
Very
rotate
cool.
the mill and pump water.
And so these are the typical pumps
And
that
those
you
are
would
the
have
typical pumps.
underneath
Now
it?
this was a test print, so some of it didn't come out perfect this first time, but I've gone back and readjusted the angles and the supports. So this
Good
this
job.
was made for someone that wanted to have them for the RPM meet. So if you want to look at my models and tell me what you want me to bring for you for the RPM meet, we can make that happen. And again, we got the O scale, the
Oh.
S scale, HO, and N. The grain bin is so far the only thing I've managed to make an N scale, but
Russian
great.
Dude, I love
Yeah.
this
Very
fan.
good.
This fan looks so good.
so everything scales out pretty nicely. So that's James Regier's models on Facebook.
How much is that fan going to cost me? The HO scale one.
The HO scale runs $25, and it includes the windmill, it includes both pumps, the water trough, and then they're separately sold tanks.
And then you put a fan, one of them little bitty tiny little
Right.
3-inch
If it
fans
has a
that they
wind
sell
surface
on
in
the
it,
They
ceiling.
got the fans in
So
the
the
squirt
little-
bottle. You
Now,
just
if you
take
do-
that off and
If you do plan on having this thing moving, then I'd recommend actually gluing this thing in place
it.
so that it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't flatten out on you.
I think it's cool.
But yeah, it's I designed it so that everything's movable.
These look good too.
Yeah.
The roof looks good on this. This is O scale.
Yeah.
And how much are these going to set me back? Because I really like these too. Is this HO too?
Yeah, the HO scale runs. I forget what the
Is
pricing.
this S scale?
That's S scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
HO.
Yeah.
How much is that?
So the HO runs $20 per, and 6 for 100.
Okay.
can you make them in different
Okay.
sizes but still an HO scale?
Yes, I can. I can do that. I haven't really done that yet because I was working from a very specific prototype on my grandfather's farm.
Because I've seen 3 different sizes together.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
lines hooking.
Well, and
you know.
right, and yeah, I'd have to do some redesign with the corrugation. Some, of course, the door is much too big on the O scale version.
All right.
I want to talk to
but-
that company that we saw at the RPM meet. You guys referred to it on last week's show. The gentleman that made the grain elevator, the silver, all the different products.
Is it Mike Olsgrove?
Well, it's I know Southern Tier Models makes a lot of great agricultural stuff, and I think they'll be at the RPM meet. And they make a lot of grain bins too, a lot of Brocks, a lot of that sort of thing.
I just can't imagine I can't use my imagination to say, okay, I'm going to set all this up on my layout without understanding the prototype,
Right.
without understanding
Right.
the configuration.
How they're
What do I
connected.
need?
Yeah.
What do they use this for?
Well,
they
I mean,
fill it with this. Then they
I just
don't
that's
know.
obviously a dry. They would dry.
In this
I guess.
in this
It's like
case,
that,
these
too.
are pretty small. These are pretty small grain bins, 13-foot diameter. These were what my grandfather built on his farm in the early 1980s. So theoretically, after I was born, though I have no memory of them.
You make it sound
on the
like
farm
80s was a
before.
long time ago, but it wasn't.
Well, yeah,
almost 50
but that's
years
just
ago,
how it
so-
is. Like
Okay.
I don't remember a time without them. But this hatch here would be where he'd fill in the grain.
Right.
Um,
Did they put heaters on those to keep them dry on the inside or something like that?
Some did. My grandfather never.
Because that's what I hear in Illinois running in September, I guess it is, the drone across the river.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can put fans on them. You can do the circulation and all of that stuff.
Okay, I got to bring this up. We didn't bring this up last week.
Yeah,
Well, one thing that Jenny Kirk asked me to mention,
Okay.
and that is
Go, shoot.
so for you folks that like to record locomotive sounds, that sort of thing. Hornby is actually looking to employ some folks here in the United States to work on their decoders, their sound decoders, as they get into the American market with some of their things. So they have an in-house decoder. Contact us. We'll get in contact with Jenny. She gave me the email address, but it's completely slipped my mind of who you contact. But at any rate, there's an opportunity out there.
There is. All right, I mentioned that to a couple of the people I know in the industry. I got a Denny Ellsman hat in my hand, and what we didn't talk about last week, because I didn't know it last week during the RPM coverage that we had, we're giving out hats at the RPM meet. Denny is having a lot of the hats made, different colors, different schemes. Yes, isn't that wonderful? Because I've got 8 more left in the
I
garage.
cannot wait.
Oh yeah.
See, Denny, he'll wear a What's Neat hat.
You
We
made
get him
the
to wear a
shirt.
hat. Oh, he made your shirt?
Yeah, that's
Well, that's because we're supposed to take a picture of ourselves.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Okay. We are, and I can say this, we are putting this podcast.
Should we even say that yet? Or should it just
It's
be a
okay.
surprise?
No, it doesn't have to be a surprise. The September issue of Model Railroader magazine, we are going to have a little bit of an advertisement in there, advertising this show, to see if, see what that does for our numbers with regards to viewers and subscriptions. And it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
It'll
Yeah.
be fun. So we're designing that right now, and it's going to be kind of really cool. It's a lot of real estate to cover, but it's going to be beautiful. And I'm not
Nice.
sure, but I think September is when, I'm guessing, that'll be the first issue that is published under
Under the new ownership. Yeah.
correct Fire Crown. So that was a great show. I think we're almost up to 19,000 views on that Fire Crown show that we had.
That was a great show.
It was
Yeah.
a fantastic show.
No, it's exciting getting some fresh ideas, fresh ownership, fresh energy. I think is always a
I'm
positive.
just excited about getting a magazine that's going to have a whole new face on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I just love, I'll go up and sit next to the stove when Holly's cooking or something and just go through the magazine that I picked up at the grocery store and just
Right.
go through it, look at the ads and scan through it. And to me, that's like the most wonderful 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not in the basement. I'm kind of in my own little world.
Yeah.
And it was fun to talk about that. I'm really glad that I have not rushed and did anything with these sections of layout that we took apart in March, and we're going to redesign them. Especially the one back here where I thought I was going to put a switch yard and park a bunch of Amtrak trains. I didn't do that, thank you. Now I'm leaning towards the direction of building a older part of town that you would see in a well-established town where you got the old frame 2-story beautiful houses. There's some really neat laser kits that are out there of various types. And if you go back to the old days, even some of the older, before they were laser kit, when they were actually punched out of wood. Campbell, I'm thinking is a Campbell scale models.
Campbell's got all of
They
them.
made
Yeah.
some beautiful homes that are timeless architecturally.
They did.
And I would love to have a street with all the amenities that you'd find in the front yard, parked next to the house, out back. And I also want to do a trailer court. I really want to
Yeah.
model a trailer court.
I started
I've
one
had
of
Holly
those.
running around to some of these areas down in Jefferson County that she knows where these trailer courts are. And the detail around them. Over the years, as we traveled to Alabama and Georgia and Mississippi down to Florida, we would travel to drive, and I would find some of the most amazing trailers that have been there, and things were added to
Right.
them, and then added to them, and added to them, and all the really cool stuff that's. You mow the grass, you find a car, I know, but the fact is, it's going to be fun to model something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Very much so.
So,
Yeah.
did I get on a tangent? Yeah, I'm
Yep,
sorry.
sure
It's-
did.
okay.
Sorry, that's the end of
We
the
didn't
month.
start the
Sorry.
stopwatch.
I know.
What?
Oh well.
We're at 20 or 30 or
Yeah, we're-
50 or 70 minutes. whatever.
279, so 280 is the next show.
Yeah.
That's going to start in next. We say that we record this show every Saturday night, but we don't. We actually skip one weekend a month, the last Saturday a month that we don't do a show.
Yeah.
That's next Saturday.
A, we need a break. B, I need to get yard work done because the season's growing. And C, that's supposed to be the week that I get the August What's Neat video out.
But it never happens.
Well, no, Joey Gento's in there. He's in there.
Yeah.
Joey Gento's did an interview. You reminded me that we shot the St. Charles Model Railroad Club. I totally forgot we did that.
Yeah.
We've got 2 layouts that we shot when we were in Chicago visiting Lombards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of neat stuff still that we got in the can. Plus, George Bookatuck's actually cranking out good material.
And then
Yeah.
the RPM is right around the corner. It's practically October already. Think about that.
No.
No, you've got the next 3 years of What's Neat laid out.
That's true. That is so true. I hope I'm not forgetting any of the notes or anything I was supposed to mention tonight. I think we've got everything covered on my end.
It's a nice hat you got there, by the way.
Yeah.
The yellow one looks good with the shirt.
If you want your own hat, go to Yelsma Graphics.
Are you kidding? Go to the RPM meet and we'll give you one. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or come to the RPM meet.
Yeah.
If you want jackets.
Bachman's going to be there. I know. Matt is going to be there from.
There's tons of people that are
There's
gonna
George.
be there.
So many people.
Tom Orlando's going to be there.
Broadway
I know.
Limited. Curtis is going to be there from Broadway Limited.
The whole crew's going to be there. It's like a family.
And then isn't the NMRA show right after that, right around the corner?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Rock and roll. Here comes that train again.
Yay! All right. I want to go run some trains.
I do too.
Yeah,
I
let's go run some
want to go
trains.
work on the Garden Railroad actually because it's cool enough out there tonight.
Okay. Let's grab some lights and go.
All right,
out there.
best hobby in the world. Is this with the throttle we're using to run the train? No, it's the other one. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So I don't have to worry about messing up. NCE, the power of DCC. This is not a joke. I've been using this because it works. I always say that over and over. A lot of the fans of the show have purchased this. It's timeless. The system works, and I'd love to get them on to interview them again.
They
They're
got
great
tons of
people.
different parts. They got the USB
website.
I use.
The radios.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love this one-handed throttle.
Yeah,
So
they have block sensors,
utility
all
throttle.
kinds of stuff you need.
And this is the Pro Cab. The Power Cab is a smaller system where this plugs right into the little plug in the wall unit, and you can power the N-scale layout over there, or a smaller layout. You could actually run this whole layout with it.
Correct.
But I like this Pro Cab system because it works with the radios in the ceiling.
Well, and the neat thing
And
is
the
that
coverage. And
if
this
you're starting off small with the power cab, there's no reason you can't expand into the pro cab later on. It all works together.
And
That's
it's always
designed so
expandable.
that it
That's
can
why
go
I'm
with you.
toying with the idea of going outside with this on the Garden Railroad. I know I'm going to have to use a 5-amp power supply. I think I'm using a 3-amp power supply on this layout. It works just fine. But
Well-
this is my go-to throttle for programming because I know it works every time.
So the one caution
It
for
walks me through the program. And when we were talking, oh God, don't get me started. I don't have the video clip. I looked for it. But when Anna was like 6 or 7 years old and we got her first one of these, I put this in her hand and she ran the damn. She
Exactly.
understood what to do.
yeah.
The intuitiveness. But look, when you hit the program button, I can't show this on the screen, it just walks you through the whole process. What do you want to program?
It's neat.
What CV you want to program? It just asks you the questions so you can't make no mistakes.
It's what's neat this week.
It is what's
It is,
neat.
yeah.
And so is this wonderful display. Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Woody.
If you
I know, okay, I'm sorry.
watch it on YouTube, hit the subscribe.
Please subscribe. Let's
Hit-
break 17,000.
Yeah, hit the bell to get notifications. Check us out on Facebook. We're on there. whatsneat.com to see who's on what show and what we're talking about
Yeah,
on each show.
whatsneat.com, a very valuable
That's right.
recess. I would love to interview the gentleman.
If
that's
you're going to
doing
be at the
that.
RPM, don't hesitate to come up and say hi to us.
Please.
That's why we're there.
When we
other
get
than to
tunnel
shoot
vision
video.
and we look like we're so busy, like don't talk to me, don't interrupt me, I'm going this way. It's a defense mechanism. I'm just trying to get through the edits. Please, just put your hand out, stop me, and say hi.
He
And I'll
does-
give you a hat.
He does make us do 14 interviews that weekend. So, I mean, we're
And we
just...
use almost all of them.
Yeah. And it's great. It's a fun time.
It's going to be awesome.
Like a family reunion.
It's going to be awesome.
All right.
Best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it, folks.
That's right.
Let's go run some trains.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
We're going to have to do a show next week.
Yay.
Okay, thumbnail. Oh my god, I want to hold something. Let's think. Can I hold this flat fan? Because I really like it.
Yeah.
This is so nice. James, good job. I'm holding a fan. Hey, look, it's a fan
It's
of
a
the
fan.
show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, R. Richard,
Yeah.
that's
That's right. We have to make our own fans.
I know.
Oh, you broke it. That's going to
Okay,
cost
ready, come on.
$29.95.
Ready, set, smile. Yay. We've got that. Let the camera one roll for 45 seconds while I pull off my microphone.
That was a good show.
It was?
I think so, don't you? No?
Yeah. Yes, I love the shows with lots of B-rolls and lots of pictures.
Yes, very much.
Because it's fun to sit back and watch those during the edit to review your work. I like that.
Absolutely.
So here comes the August What's Neat, and here comes school starting.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be saving our money for the RPM meet, right? We have 4 weeks to save.
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll.
I'm just gonna save for Milwaukee.
Train Fest.
That's right.
We should find out about maybe going up there.
Oh,
Well, you're the.
I'll contact the boys that are in charge.
You're the daddy-o, daddy-o.
All right, guys. Killings.
We didn't. You